I am Karen Brady, Educational Consultant at Patton Harrisburg, and today I will be modeling fluency routines for handwriting of numerals. We will use our knowledge of holding numerals in our working memory using our mind's eye in lessons that promote writing fluency. Please review the recording on Handwriting of Numerals Acquisition to Fluency for the research and conceptual knowledge behind these routines. Before we review actual instructional examples, let's take a few moments to review the instructional hierarchy and how it relates to handwriting instruction. The first stage is the acquisition stage. In acquisition, the student has begun to learn how to write numerals correctly, but is not yet accurate or fluent in the skill. The goal in this phase is to improve accuracy, making sure that students are forming the numbers correctly. In this stage, teachers actively demonstrate how to form the numbers correctly. Teachers use think-aloud strategies while modeling how to write the numbers using wording about formation and directionality. Students will need models of correct numeral formation and need feedback about how they are doing. Students receive praise and encouragement for their effort. The next stage is the fluency stage. In fluency, the student is able to write numerals accurately and legibly, but works slowly. The goal of this phase is to increase the student's speed of responding. The teacher structures learning activities to give students opportunities for active, observable practice. Students have frequent opportunities with direct repetition and practice of writing numerals. Students get feedback on fluency and accuracy of performance, and students receive praise and encouragement for increased fluency. In the generalization stage, the student is accurate and fluent in writing numerals, but does not typically able to do that in different situations. The goal of this phase is to get the student to use the skill in the widest possible range of settings and situations. Teachers give academic tasks that require the student to use the handwriting of numerals regularly in assignments. Students receive encouragement, praise, and reinforcers for using the skill in new situations or settings. Students get periodic opportunities to review and practice target skills to ensure maintenance. The focus of the next routines will be on writing numerals for fluency in the instructional hierarchy. Prior to working on the fluency of writing numbers, students need to have acquired accurate numeral formation with explicit, direct teaching by the teacher of each numeral with adequate guided and independent practice by the students. Please note that in the transition from the acquisition stage to the fluency stage, errors decrease as indicated on the graph with the red line. We don't want to practice fluency of written numerals before students are writing numerals with correct formation and legibility. It's likened to a new driver. We don't want students to driving a car fast before the student has acquired how to use the brake and steering wheel. Fluency routines can be a 3 to 7 minute warm-up prior to a mathematics lesson by practicing numeral writing daily, especially at the beginning of each lesson. This moves towards minimal requirements of working memory. Please remember that these fluency routines are not to replace the explicit instruction and modeling that comes prior in acquisition lessons. During these fluency routines, teachers can provide feedback about student performance and ensure correct letter formation and legibility. Learning activities that require students to hold a number in the mind's eye without looking at it on the paper and then opening their eyes and writing the number from memory helps develop automaticity. We need to build automaticity through repeated repetition of the sequence and directionality for each numeral. When the child can form each of the 10 numerals legibly, 0 to 9, move to activities that develop automatic numeral writing. Ask the child to study the numbered arrows in the numeral, then cover the numeral with a 3x5 card, and then write the numeral from memory. Across practice sessions, increase the number of seconds the numeral is covered. First 1 second, then 3 seconds, and then 5 seconds, for example. Name the numeral as often as possible as directions are given. This helps assist children in retrieving numbers from memory. Remember, this process is not appropriate for initial instruction or acquisition in handwriting, but rather for developing handwriting automaticity after students have been introduced and acquired correct letter formation. This is not independent seat work. Teachers should direct each step. Let's try an example of this. The student studies the numbered arrows for the numbers. We cover the number for 1 second. As the student holds the number in his or her mind's eye and then writes the number. As the student progresses with other numbers and practice opportunities over days, the teacher can increase the time the number is covered when the student is writing the number. In this example, we are covering for 3 seconds while the student writes the numeral on a paper. Eventually, the number is covered for a longer period of time where the student holds the number in the mind's eye longer, and eventually the student no longer needs the model to write the number from memory. In this example, it is 5 seconds. Numbers are practiced in a different order each time. We do this task with different numbers for at least 5 minutes. After the credits and references, I will model this using an adapted version of Virginia Berninger's handwriting lessons using numerals. For this fluency routine, for the first numeral, ask the students to study the numbered arrows as you, the teacher, names the number. The name of the number serves as a retrieval cue. For this number 2, the student studies the model and the numbered arrows. Cover the model for only 1 second with a card. The student holds that formation in his or her mind's eye and begins to write the numeral, and then compares each formation to the model. Let's try one. This is the number 2. Look at the numbered arrows and the formation of 2. I'm going to cover the number 2 for 1 second. You will write the number from memory on the next line. Does your number look like the model? Does it touch the correct lines and spaces? I'm going to cover the number 2 again. Write the number from memory on the next line. Does your number look like the model? I'm going to cover the number 2 again. Does your number look like the model? Circle the number that looks the most like the model too. So you would continue to do this routine down the page and practice for about 5 minutes. Over practice session, the teacher increases the time the numeral is covered before the student writes it from memory to 3, 4, and 5 seconds gradually. The numbers are always written from memory with the model and previous attempts covered. I will hold the card for 3 seconds and then 5 seconds over practice sessions. This is the number 7. Look at the numbered arrows and the formation of 7. I'm going to cover the 7 for 3 seconds. You will write the number from memory on the next line. Does your number look like the model? Does it touch the correct lines and spaces? I'm going to cover the number 7 again. Write the number from memory on the next line. Does your number look like the model 7? Let's repeat that, and I'll cover the number again. Okay, circle the number that looks most like the model 7. So you would practice this way down the page for about 5 minutes, holding the card for 3 seconds each time. As practice sessions happen over time, you'd increase the time that the student holds that number in his or her mind's eye before producing the number from memory. This is the number 3. Look at the numbered arrows and the formation of 3. I'm going to cover for 5 seconds. You will write the number from memory on the next line. Does your number look like the model? Does it touch the correct lines and spaces? I'm going to cover the number 3 again. Does your number look like the model 3? Okay, let's do it again. Okay, circle the number that looks most like the model 3. Numerals are practiced in a different order each time. This is done for at least 5 minutes for a practice session. Literacy research has shown that letter production becomes automatic when the students study number arrow cues for a model letter that is named, and then the student writes the name letter from memory after increasing delays. We have applied this process today to writing numerals to support the transition from acquisition of writing numerals to fluency of written numerals. So students increase the time the numeral is held in the mind's eye over practice sessions until they can write it fluently without the model. This is Karen Brady from Patton Harrisburg, thanking you for watching this recording. Please see other posted recordings on fluency routines for writing numerals on our Patton YouTube channel.